So I'm quickly just refilming the tutorial. It's the live that I did about an hour or two ago. It didn't save to my page, which is so sad, but I didn't want you guys to miss out on the tutorial because I was going to save it to my page so you could refer back to it at any point. So yeah, really annoying it's not saved, but I'm doing it again for you guys so you can refer back to it here. So in the tutorial we beaded this little guy, which is super adorable. We kind of combined two hearts together, so it was this one and then I'm not going to be able to find it now. Oh, this one. So it was combining those two kind of together, which was really fun. And yeah, so I've got everything laid out in front of me ready to go. If you have your box, get it all laid out so it's ready, and I will guide you through what's inside the box to start with. So if you've got the February bead box, it will look a little bit like this, and I will open it up for you. So you've got your little monthly bead box card, and then inside you've got all this lovely beady goodness. So you have got the star of the show, I think, are these three felted hearts. So you've got a bright pink one, a red one, and a pale pink. They're really gorgeous, kind of like lovely to hold in your hands. They feel really nice, felted hearts. And yeah, in 3 shades, which are just really, really cute. And then you have got 2 bobbins. One bobbin has on an organza ribbon, so it's about I think it's a 3mm pink crystal organza ribbon, which is really lovely. And this is used for adding like a hanging part to your decoration, so you can hang them either like if you have a little tree all year round or wherever you want to hang them really. And then you have also got your beading thread. So on the beading thread you have got 2, which is a little bit different to normal. So you've got 2 because you've got different coloured hearts. So basically the pale pink one is used for the pale pink heart because it matches really nicely. And then the red one is used for on the red heart and on the pink heart. I know it's not exactly the right colour for obviously the pink heart, but it will work and it will be perfect for what you're doing. It does work. I've tried and tested it to make sure it worked, and it does. You can't really see it too much. Obviously do your stitches kind of smaller and kind of close together to disguise it as best you can. But those 2 colours work really well together. So yeah, red thread for the bright pink and red heart, and then pale pink for the pale pink one. I mean, it's kind of obvious as you're doing it, but I just wanted to explain that to you guys. So that's the heart, the threads and the ribbon, and then it's the best bit, the beads. So you have got 10 different types of beads in the box, all kind of different shapes and sizes. You've got 1 packet of sequins, and the rest are beads. And yeah, you've got a couple of kind of like exclusive ones as well. So these sequins, which are amazing in my opinion, they are totally exclusive to the box, and they are like a 3mm sequin, and they're kind of cupped, so they go in and up, kind of like a cup shape, and they are amazing for putting a bead in the middle because they make it look really jewelly and lovely. So those are those guys there. Then you have got these fabulous beads. So they are like the star of the beading show. They are hearts. They are a lovely kind of like pinky colour, and they are fully glass and beautiful, absolutely beautiful beads. If you have seen any of my beaded jewellery pieces that I did kind of later last year, I use these, and they are amazing in beaded jewellery as well. So if you're into beaded jewellery, you could also use them in that, but also great if you're beading and you're stitching. See, I've put them on the middle here, and then this heart, they're going down the middle. So yeah, super fun. These 2 are totally exclusive, as well as this one, to the bead box. So these aren't available on the bead shop or anything like that. You've got 3 exclusive ones, which is quite a lot. Normally it's just 1, so you've got 3 in this. And then yes, these other exclusive ones, so they are a gorgeous kind of bright reddy pink, like a flamingo pink. They're silver lined, but they've got that kind of milky feel to them. Really, really gorgeous. Then you've got a pink clear, so it's a very soft pink, totally clear, size 8. A gold size 11 there, really nice for adding a bit of sparkle and kind of like opulence. Another pink size 8. These guys are silver lined, and they've got a luster effect, so they're kind of like multicoloured and iridescent. Really, really beautiful. These guys, they are a size 6, and they're kind of like a really nice juicy red colour, again silver lined. Then you have got these size 11, again like iridescent, kind of like multi-luster look to them. Really, really lovely for adding like some warmth. It's a really nice rich red, that one as well. And then you've got a bright red bead. So these are the hex cut ones. So if you can see, they're kind of like mini bugles in there. They're like 3mm. Really, really lovely. And finally, you've got these size 11 pale pink. Quite hard to see in this light, but they have got a luster to them, giving them like an almost pearly kind of feel, which is really, really nice. So those are the beads in the box. And as we get started on the beading, I'll let you know which beads are which and which ones to grab. But if you want to get your heart at the ready and then thread up your needle as well. So I've chosen to work with a short beading needle. You can work with whatever you fancy. It's totally like down to your choice if you want a short, long, or even a split eye needle as well. But yeah, I just like working with a short needle. It's my preferred. And then I have threaded it through the eye and pulled both ends to meet. I've got quite a long one here to keep me going. And then I have knotted at the end, both of those together. And then I've cut the end of the knot really, really short because we're going to pull that knot kind of right up tight and close to the felt heart as we go. So once you've got your thread all ready, I'm going to come up in the heart and I'm going to come up. So I've started going in just off center and then I'm going up through. So my needle point end is coming through the very point of the heart at the end. Can you see that there? So I'm just going to pull that all the way through. And because we cut our thread end of the knot so fine, you can just see that tiny lump, but it's really not much there at all. And then you are going to grab one of the red hex beads and one of the pale pink size 11. So those guys, you want to scatter them on your mat and thread on one hex bead and one pale pink bead. Just like so. So you have got a red hex bead and then a pale pink bead. And I'm going to pull up the pale pink bead just like so. And I'm going to go back through the red bead only. And then with my needle, I'm going to try and guide it up. And I'm going to go back to where that knot pretty much was. Can you see I'm doing like going through the red bead and then I'm coming back up just next door. And then pull that all the way through. So you've got one bead with the hex and the pink just coming out at the very bottom. And then your thread is coming up about ½ a centimetre away. And you're going to repeat that. So one hex bead and one size 11 pink bead. Just like so. And then pull the pink bead up and you're going to go back through just the hex bead and then do a stitch along. Perfect. So you've got two little kind of sticky outy bits. And then you just want to carry on working the whole way around until you get to this domey point. And I'll chat you through that part. But you can see it kind of goes all the way around the edge. And just kind of keep your spacing as consistent as possible, but don't stress yourself out about it. It's not that big a deal. And once you've got the embellishment on the front of the heart, you won't be looking at it all that much either, so don't stress about that. I hope you have been enjoying the February bead box. You'll have to send me any photos of the hearts that you bead. I absolutely love seeing your creations and I'm sure you'll do some things that are far more exciting than what I've done. You guys always amaze me with your creativity and what you can produce. Yeah, so just keep it going. It's quite a nice rhythm once you get into it and how you can follow along. It's really nice. Keep it on going. You kind of want to keep it as well in as straight a line as possible, so keep it going really smooth, so they don't like kind of all go off at different directions. but also if they do, absolutely fine. It's a handmade piece at the end of the day. Okay, I'm just doing my final one before coming into the centre. Squeeze one more on actually. Get another. And then also try not to get the thread tangled on the rest of the beads. Okay, perfect. So I have gone all the way around the edge, and now my thread is coming out pretty much the center of the heart. So in that like dip part, my thread is coming out, and I'm going to put one just right in the center there. I think it just kind of sits quite nicely and gives it a good structure. If yours isn't like timing right with the despacing, just ignore it, don't worry. And then now, because this one, it's really hard to get my needle to come out up here, because can you see it's so curved? I mean, you could do it. If you can do it, go for it, but it can be quite tricky. So if you want to come out kind of through the center of the heart, you absolutely can do, and then come back and do a little stitch and get yourself back to where you need to be. Don't feel like you need to keep going round and round. If you need to kind of sort yourself out and get your angle right, do. Yeah, no one's going to know because we're going to bead over it, and also the thread is pretty much matched to the colour of the heart, and you can also just do a tiny little stitch and it will hide within the felt anyway. Perfect. So now we're back and we're just going to carry on around the other side. Brow. Quite soothing, this one. I quite like a repetitive kind of craft moment, not like too much, but like this, how it's quite quick but repetitive, if that makes any sense. But yeah, very satisfying, and it kind of whizzes along quite quickly. You think when you start, oh, it's gonna take ages, and then before you know it, you're basically there. I think that's one of the best things about these felt pieces, like their hearts and the stars that I've done as well, that because they're quite small themselves, obviously beading takes time, because they're small you can't do too much on it, so you can do one relatively quite quickly, and I always say that these felt pieces are so great for a beginner. So if you're new to beaded embroidery, these felt hearts are perfect for you, because they're just so easy. You can get going straight away and you can create something really pleasing quite quickly, and they just make it so easy. So I highly recommend, if anyone is new to beaded embroidery, this is a really great one for you. Okay, so I'm just coming back to join them up. So I've whizzed around, so I've done the whole way around, and I've got one more gap to fill. So just in here, my thread's coming, I'm going to do one more in there, and then we can jump to the center and start doing the center point. Brilliant. So I've not quite finished my last one. I've got my needle going through and the bead isn't quite secure yet, but I'm just going to get my needle to come up where I want it to be for the central part. So as you can see, we've got one of the lovely pink hearts in the center, and then we've got some beading around the edge and then some sequining around the edge as well. So you're going to want one of those ceramic-y glassy pink beads. You're going to want the domed sequins, and you're also going to want these lovely size 11 kind of like iridescent luster colour red beads. So that is the sequins, the luster beads, and the gorgeous hearts, those guys. And I am going to come back up into the middle of my heart. I'm going to come up at the bottom of this heart, because we're going to work this whole embellishment from the center out. So I'm going to stitch that pink heart down first, and then I'm going to do the beading and then the sequin. So I'm going to come up where the heart starts at the bottom, thread the bead on, and then I'm going to go back down at the top. So it's kind of like a big stitch. So you want to bring your needle up, not quite in the center, but a little bit further down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Don't stress yourself out about it being absolutely perfect, because it's never going to be, and there's no point in trying to get it to be perfect, because it will just be no, don't. But get it as neat as you possibly can, obviously, and if you like being neat, then do go for it, but don't get yourself too stressed because it's not worth it. Okay, so I threaded on my pink heart. It looks super cute, and I'm just pulling it up towards the top and then pressing it down, and where it finishes at the very top of the bead, I'm going to put my needle all the way through the felt. Yeah, just like so. And there we go, it's all stitched on, that little heart, so that's perfect. And then I'm going to, with my needle from the back, I'm going to go straight down to the bottom of the heart. So I'm coming up at the very bottom of the heart. Brill. And now we're going to pick up our size 11 ready kind of beads, these guys. And if you want to slide on 3 of those, and push them all the way down to the end of the heart, I'll just fling it everywhere. And then I'm just going to show you this close up. Can you see that the beads are kind of being guided around and they're laying down? So we're literally doing that. So I'm going to slide on 3, lay them down where they finish, go through the felt heart, back out to this side. Then I'm going to come back through, and then the last bead I put down, I'm going to come in between the second one and the third one and come up. Let me show you. So I've got those 3 laying down right snug against the heart. I'm going to go all the way through the heart at the end of that chain, just like so. And then I'm going to come back up, and I'm not going to come up at the end of that last bead, but I'm coming up just before, if you can see that. It's really hard to show you guys. So it's not at the end, it's in between. So you got 1, 2, and then I'm up, and then the last bead is there, because basically you want to rethread that last bead just like so. So I'm going back through that last one, and then we're going to thread on 3 more of those beads and keep going all the way around. By rethreading the last bead that you just stitched on will mean that it's a nice continuous flow, and it's not like bit, 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 bit. It kind of makes it really smooth. So you want to add on 3 more. And then you're going to lay it down again where it finishes. So I'm kind of getting like the half of it done now. And again, I'm going to come up just before that last bead to hold that on. Thread on 3 more, back down, and then keep going. Oh, I didn't rethread through the last bead. Imogen, what are you doing? So yeah, make sure to thread through that last bead so it sits nicely. This is where I'm at. Probably will be 2 more lots of 3, I reckon. Lovely. Lovely, that's finishing quite nicely there. So you can see my last 3 beads, it's gone a bit loose, but I'll pull it in and that'll sit really nicely around the heart bead. And if you need to, if your heart bead is kind of like moving around a bit, you can always secure it again. But again, with beading, I always say if you need to get anything kind of in the right direction, just give it a pull. So like kind of go back through, retrace it with your thread, and then pull it into the direction that you want it to be. You are the master, you can maneuver all the beads exactly how you would want them to be. Perfect. There we go. So we got the beads going around the edge, nice and snug, which is fab. Now it's time to do the really fun kind of jewelry bit around the edge. So we're grabbing those gold sequins, and then you want to grab those pale pink size 11 again that we used on the outside. So we're going to go from the bottom to start with again, because I just think it's the best place to start, you know. It's a nice kind of point on the heart. So you can see I've just come out of my heart and I'm right at the bottom just there. And I'm going to thread on one sequin, and you want to make sure you're threading it on so the cup is like that. Does that make sense? Concave, convex, I never know which is which. But it all makes sense because you want the bead to sit inside the sequin. So when you push it down, your bead is sitting inside that sequin instead of it being like pushed up. It will make sense when you do it, I promise. When I'm talking like this, it's probably not making any sense. But yeah, you just want that bead to sit inside the sequin basically. So I have just gone back through the sequin, but not the bead to secure it. So I threaded on one sequin, one bead, and then went back through the sequin, and I've jumped back up just next door there. I'll show you this next one blow by blow. So one sequin and one bead on my needle. So you can see I've got one pale pink, oh gosh, one pale pink bead, and then the gold sequin is just there. Push that down to the bottom of your heart, and then you're going to want to go through just the sequin. So you can see if I move the bead, there you go, you're just going through that sequin, and then I'm coming back up about similar distance onto the other part of the heart. And you just want to keep going round in similar size increments and adding in that jewelry motif. I think actually this is one of my favourite hearts that I've beaded, which is funny because it's the last one pretty much that I'm beading. I spent hours playing with them all. It was just so fun. There's so many kind of combinations and ways you can do it. So fun. I highly recommend, if you're gonna get the bead box, if you haven't yet, adding in a few more hearts, because the box comes with 3, but you will just get quite addicted and want to do loads of different ones. So I would definitely recommend adding in some more hearts to play with. Well, so I'm just following it all the way around. Show you my progress. Just like so, looking really, really cute. Promise you, these sequins you're gonna absolutely love. They are gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. They just make it look so jewelry and like really expensive. I think they have a really expensive feel to them. Make your work look quite expensive. Okay, got about 2 more to go. Fabulous. And just adding in the very last one just there. Brilliant. And there it is, all beaded. How cute is that? I'm just going to finish off the back. So with my needle and thread, I'm just going to weave back through the heart in kind of loads of different directions. So just stabbing it through the felt, and then I'm just pulling it out the other side. I'm just making sure that when I go through the felt, my stitches are quite little, so I'm making sure my needle goes back really close to where my thread is coming out, so I've not got like really long stitches going across the back of the heart or anything like that, then it still does look quite neat. And kind of the idea is that they're invisible so you don't see them. So I'm going to do this 4 times to be sure that my beads are all really securely in there and they're not going to fall off. Perfect. And then when you're happy, you can trim your thread right up against your heart. There you go, look at that little guy, so cute. And then the finishing touch is just adding on that the little ribbon string. So I'll show you how to do that, because I'm not gonna lie, when I did it I got really confused as to how you do it. On the start I did it so easily because it was on the point, whereas on the heart it's a bit more confusing. So I'll show you how I did it, and if anyone else is thinking it honestly took me longer than it should have. So I have just grabbed a, what needle are we? We're a chenille needle, so it is sharp at one end, reasonably chunky. It's about a size 18 or 19 size chenille needle, so kind of on the chunkier side but nothing too wild. Have a rummage through your sewing box and see what will fit the ribbon. If it's a tapestry one, that's fine, you just have to give it more of a shove. The chenille ones are quite nice, they've got a sharper point on the end. That's kind of the only difference between chenille and tapestry. And then you're going to go from back to front, you're going to go in at the very like dip point of the heart, and then I try to angle it so it's kind of going upwards, so like that, so your needle is going in a diagonal upwards, just so you don't have as much showing on the front, it looks a little bit more hidden. And then pull that all the way through, release the needle, you can let go of that, and then just get both of the ribbons to sit equal in their height. And then you could tie it just there, but as soon as you thread it onto anything it's going to sit like that, which is really annoying because you want it to sit like that. So grab the ribbon and you're just going to tie a single knot and push it all the way down to the bottom right against the felt, and then pull both ends up to the top and give them a tie. Perfect. And then now when you hang it, it will sit in the center just like so, and then you can trim these ends so they're nice and neat. And there you go, you've got your little beaded heart. So there are loads of different ways you can do the beaded hearts. This guy is a really great one. It's kind of a fully clustered, encrusted kind of one. I've literally just gone in and out with my needle, threading on beads and sequins as I go. Super fun and super kind of jewelly, which is really nice. You can also play with the motifs, laying down the heart beads in the middle and then popping some motifs on the sides as well. These ones are super fun. Got a little fun bottom. So same technique as how we have done on our one. You're just adding on more of the beads to give it that little kind of floofy tassely bit. This guy is exactly the same as this one. You're just adding on 2 of the hex beads at once instead of 1. So that's really fun. And then this one a little bit different, kind of making a real motif. So if you're doing anything like this, just start in the center, work your way out and add in different parts as you go. Really fun to kind of play and have a creation with that one. Yeah. And of course there's loads of photos on the February bead box listing and on my Instagram and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I will sign off here and love and leave you. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on the February bead box for the hearts, and have a lovely rest of your evening. Bye.